Who are you going to believe? Me or that Puxatony Phil? Emanuele, how are you, everybody? Goodbye, winter. Football's over in about half a minute. And who are you going to believe anyway? Puxatony Phil or Brooklyn guy? Anyway, how you doing, everybody? Yesterday and today, 8-2 free plays. Go check it out if you want to go verify. Proud of that. Hope you won some money. And like I always tell you, I'm good at what I do. So, not always. So how you doing, everybody? Goodbye, winter. Hello, life. For the married guys, hello, winter. Goodbye, winter. Hello, wife. Especially on Sundays. Because football widow, that's a real thing, I think. Now, you can hide it. You can go to an event on a Sunday and happen to have a GI series problem and have to be in the bathroom every 10 minutes and have to charge your phone after an hour when you've just been sitting there. Rocktober slots, yes. Seattle wins. We did good, 8-2. 4-1 yesterday, 4-1 today with the free plays. I'll be giving them out every day. People that want my premier service where you can actually talk to me and you'll get a contact number, we do well. So, Emmanuel, you know what? It didn't mean anything. Not that should matter. Like I tell people, whether you're playing $2 or $1,000 on a hand at blackjack, you should play right. Don't just say, it's only $2. Hit on the 17 because I have a feeling I want to be James Conn from The Gambler. You don't do that. Well, you should call it accordingly. And I have a feeling if the game was closer, might have been a bit different. Danae, how are you? So anyway, I'm feeling better, G. How you doing? I am on the mend. I feel weak, but I'm sure that's the next thing that'll improve. But thank you, all of you, for always asking how I'm doing. So, winter from the Super Bowl post game on, I know a lot of guys, I'm not one of them because football was always a business to me with the handicapping. I couldn't name 3 players on the Jets or the Giants, to be honest with you. It's a business and a side business and always was. So I really don't care. It does have a bit of a void on a Saturday and Sunday. Not so much Saturday with the college, but the Sunday, yeah. I am feeling better. Thank you, Manuel. There's a difference, especially, I'm sure, for the real stout and devout football fans when the first Sunday comes along where there's nothing. Then you start reading articles and what the team needs, what players are going to be let go, what free agents at a draft or whatever. I'm not into that. I see it now with hockey because I'm a big hockey fan and the Rangers are shot. The Rangers are in a retool, which is a rebuild, but you can't say retool in Manhattan when you're charging $8 for a water bottle. I can imagine that's sort of the feeling that Jet fans have every year, where you're just out of it. You still watch, and you want to maybe watch the rookies and see how they progress, and maybe guys that are going to mean something to the team in a couple of years and take on the leadership. But when there's no football on a Sunday, when guys and gals, I know a lot of women that are football fans, they feel empty, at least for the first week or two. But when God, Vishnu, Moses, Sportsy Claus, whoever came up with all the sports, positioned it nicely, where you have basketball and hockey within 3 weeks, they open up in October, November. You have football playoffs because hockey's early on in the season. So now football's getting on. So really, you could put that on the back burner. It's still early with hockey, basketball. Then when football is over, what God did for you is if your teams perennially suck, He gave you March Madness, and you have the pools around the workshop and whatever, and you get into March Madness for 3 weeks or a month. And miraculously, right around the end of March Madness, opening day, baseball. Now, I'm taking for granted that you like baseball as well, because there are people that could care less about one sport or another. But I will tell you this much: there is a void when you root for a team and all of a sudden you're rooting for next year. Emmanuel, yeah. I didn't see him tonight, but I did see an interview a few weeks ago, and he does look good. He's got to be, what, 78, 80? Got a lot of miles on that boy. So I look at it and I say, okay, spring training starts in about 8 days, I think, pitchers and catchers. I'm hopefully going down to Port St. Lucie mid-March. I may have to have a procedure. If that's the case, I can't fly. But I'm going Tuesday to the doctor, and I'll know. Hoping it'll be fine. I wanted to spend a few days down there, see my friend Jeff Green, who works for the Mets. He's on the field. I can get on the field with him. Jeff's friends at Omar Minaya. Omar actually worked with me at Jukebox back in the 80s. I'm hoping that he's around. Even though he doesn't work for the Mets, he still is around. And the weather starts getting nice. This has been brutal this winter. I think this winter is 5 degrees less than any winter in the last 40 or 50 years, the average temperature. Yeah, Rocktober. Well, I still go to the Ranger games because my son has season tickets and he gets access to a lot of tickets. So I'll go to maybe 10 or 15 a year out of the 40. Basketball, I really don't have an interest in. I like the fact that the Knicks are doing well, but it doesn't really matter to me either way. But the seasonal change is opposite for me. And I'm actually doing physical therapy where I could actually hold something more than a coffee cup in the operated shoulder. Is that correct English? God, my English professor's hanging himself in NYU. Christmas candle. Now, when Christmas is over, that bothers me. I love Christmas. I love once Halloween hits and it gets brisk out. I'm a big winter guy. Thanksgiving, I love. And to tell you the truth, I used to spend Thanksgiving at my sister Nancy's house. Nancy passed away about 9 years ago. I think 9 years ago, it'll be in June, 9. And I never thought that I'd feel good about it again. But my son loves it so much that I do. And it took a year or two. But I'm a Christmas guy. This new year did not start off well. I lost Colby. Hey, Ira, my beloved little guy in here is his ashes. Lost him. Lost my brother-in-law before him. It's been rough. And then I had to have surgery, and now I'm going through another medical issue that I'll know more about Tuesday. So it goes with the game. It goes with the package being 64 years of age. It could be worse. I have friends that are ill, really ill, and they're fighting, and every day it's a struggle, not a struggle to get up and get out, a struggle to have to deal with the fact that you're sick. Yeah, tomorrow is 4 weeks for me. Now I can do this. I'm allowed pretty much to do anything in front of me. I'm supposed to still wear the sling outside for 2 more weeks, but I haven't done that. But I can do this. And I think I'm supposed to be in physical therapy passive. Last week I didn't go because I was sick. But I it hurts a little. A different type of pain than the pain I had before I had the surgery. But I'm happy with it. In fact, I woke up on my left shoulder, not totally on the left shoulder, but enough where it wasn't bothering me. So that was cool. That it must be getting better, which it is. I can feel it. It's still tight and it hurts. It's more like an ache now, and it's been very cold, so I'm sure that doesn't help it. Thank you, Emmanuel. Yeah, this is it's rough when you get older. You know, the tears and the laughs have to even out. It's like the breaks even out. Well, for all the times you laughed when you were younger and didn't give a damn about anything, oh, now it's time you have to. It was like this laughter and tears. Now, it's getting more even now. For every wedding you go to, there's a wake, a viewing, if you want to call it that. Or you hear the news that one of your friends has to go for chemo or radiation or whatever the case. You don't worry about that 40 years ago. You don't worry about that 15 years ago, generally. If you're 50 and you get sick, you're pretty young. But like I always say, in your 20s, you feel invincible because you are. You can go out drinking all night and take 2 aspirin and go to work the next day. At 30, you might have some aches and pains. At 40, you probably have your first health scare. By 50, you definitely have had probably your first health scare. At 60, you've done something about it. And at 70, you're praying that the next health scare isn't aligned with a pine box. Yeah, postmenopausal. That's the devil looking at men and going, that's what that is. No, we don't have to. No, well, we have to worry about dealing with it if we're with somebody, which, that could be rough too. Don't sell yourself short. But I'm joking, Danae. I just think that we have another 6 weeks for, hey, Maria, another my pal Maria, another 6 weeks. And, you have to watch yourself. You fall, you're getting old when you're shaking something off your shoulder and it's the floor because you fell. But let me tell you something. And I have friends on here, Danae, Maria, very nice people. I can just tell. Haven't met them, but I could tell I'd love to meet them. When you love somebody, you have a hell of a weapon at your disposal. Think about that. Yes, Ira. I saw that. That worried me. But I look at life now differently than I used to. And I don't know if it's age or if it's, you get beat up. You start to see people around you, you wake up in the morning, what is it now? You didn't do anything but sleep. The hardest thing your head hit was a pillow. I don't know what it is, but something keeps us chugging along. And we have to. Because the alternative, I heard when you're dead a pretty long time. So you might as well have fun now while you're here. Getting older is not for sissies. You're absolutely right. I remember when I turned 50, and I was a little down about it. And a couple of people told me, God, what are you talking about? It's a privilege to turn 50. I said, a privilege? You got homeless people or bums and maniacs that turned 50. What did they accomplish? That they didn't die. That's the first thing they accomplished. Doesn't mean I did anything with my life, but one day at a time, one day at a time. And I'll tell you, one day turns into 2 days, turns into a lifetime. You look back and say, where'd it go? I had a friend. Actually, it was my friend Bob's friend. They called him Bonamano, and he was from Avenue U in Brooklyn. And one day, he just lost it. He went from dressing in a suit, being wonderful, to walking bare feet, mumbling to himself like a poet. Something snapped. I don't think he was into drugs, but I don't know. But something snapped. And I saw him at the racetrack. Hadn't seen him for 30 years. This is about 8 years ago. And I said, "Oh, remember me? I knew Bob." "Oh, yeah, yeah," because he lived on Bob's block. I knew him through Bob when I go on the block. So I said, "My God, where did the time go?" He looked at me and said, "We lived it." This is a guy that has more problems than I'll ever have, and he just buried me with his analogy. So that just goes to show you, you can be fairly intelligent, which I consider myself, but an idiot at the same time. Yes, I tried to help him up. My son, I called him down, and he went and helped Ira. I tried my best, not with my bad arm, but my good arm. I didn't wear the sling in the house. I don't listen. But you know what? I'll tell you guys this. I don't know if you know it. I passed out during the week. I've been feeling lightheaded for about a month. And I got up, felt lightheaded, but I had been feeling that. And then I had my son over me, "Dad, Dad, Dad." And I'm staring upside down. So I have to go Tuesday to the doctor, the heart doctor. But things happen. What happens if I was on the steps? That was the last thing that I'd ever not remember, because when you're dead, I don't know if you remember it. You limp. Well, Rock, it's better than not walking. Our friend Frank has a plethora of problems. Then he sends me his medical record. I think the Bible has 3 more pages in it. And it's sad. No, it wasn't a manual. I was 160. Thanks for saying that. It was 160. It was fine. But I have been lightheaded. Now, honestly, for the last 3 days, I haven't been. So maybe I was getting sick for the last 3 weeks and didn't know it. But I have a right bundle branch block. 40 years ago, my pulse is very low. And they told me, maybe one day you'll need a pacemaker. So maybe one day is soon. But I'm going to the doctor to check it out Tuesday. And hopefully I don't. Maybe I was just vertigo. Who knows? Good movie anyway. So goodbye, winter, for me. Puxatawny Phil can go screw himself. I'm going to consider it. I'll mourn for a day that there's no football, because that means there's change, right? Next weekend changes now. And I'll just do my thing and get ready for baseball. I love baseball. Absolutely adore it. Yes, G. You do your best. That's all you can do, Rocktober. You do your best. Rocktober thought Seattle was a lock. Congratulations to my pal. Yeah, if you're a sports player, hit me up, because I used to do this for a living and I'm good. You should never feel embarrassed about that, Ira. Why? It was ice. You slipped on ice. You never slipped in front of me when I know your years. Yeah, Ira carried weight for many years, and he probably has arthritic knees. And you could have arthritic knees at 140 pounds at 65. That's just the way it works. You could have arthritis and not feel a lot of pain. You could be minimally arthritic and feel a lot of pain, more than the person that needs reconstruction with the shoulder. Yes, he's actually a better handicapper than me. I just don't give him the credit because he's from Pennsylvania, and that's all I'll say. So, but now what do you do? Now I have a lot of things to look forward to. My car lease is up in a few months. So I'm going to decide what car I want. Maybe a Lexus truck, SUV. I don't know. I might go into that again. Um, but I love this car, an Altima Nissan Altima. Really nice. Really nice. It's loaded, Nice car. Black. Hey BJ, how are you, man? Yeah, don't be embarrassed. You should never be embarrassed. If you were ever with a girl and you think, you know what, while I'm down here. So 65, you're fine. Yes, Maria. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, we did good. We went 8-2 yesterday and today. Yeah, I used to move games for Billy Walters, if you read about him in Las Vegas. The MIT guys, the movie with Kevin Spacey, I used to work with them. Now I'm not a fan of Phil either. Tony Phil. I like Tony Phil like I like pizza with pepperoni and shit on it. So baseball. I'm looking forward to going. I'm going to go down for 3 or 4 days with my son. Probably March 13th because I have to teach during the week. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I can go from Friday to Monday. Oh, Bill Murray. That Tony, that little prick, that actor, bit Bill Murray in the car scene. Murray had to have his hand stitched up during that. He almost threw him through the window. Go read about it. So Maria gave me a wonderful compliment, and I wanted to address it. Maria is a friend and a faithful friend to all of you in the chat, my channel. And she gave me a very lovely compliment. And, the compliment's between us, but I thank you, Maria. It made me feel very, very welcome. And it made me feel like I do something right. So I thank you, dear. Inserting pacemakers, they're telling people that don't necessarily need them, that they need them, especially if they're older people. Yeah, well, yeah, pacemakers have come a long way. They used to be big. Now I think they're like the size of a quarter or something. Oh, sure, Danae. And the thing is that a lot of people are, you know, people turn 65. They're so afraid if they're doing a movie, when the love scene comes, they call a stunt double in. They're just scared shit of raising their pulse or anything. Yeah, I'm going to go to my internist, but he sent me here for Tuesday. So I'll go to him. But thank you, Maria. And so are you. I look forward to your feedback. I truly do. You must be an amazing person. And I say that honestly. I've been blessed with this channel where I've met people that really have become friends of mine. Yeah, I had a year or two ago, I definitely had vertigo where it was spinning and then it went away, Emmanuel. Oh, thank you, G. I appreciate it. And I'm glad you ladies met on here. You know what's interesting too, Danae? When I had my surgery, tomorrow is a month, my potassium was low. And they delayed my surgery for about a half hour and gave me potassium, then retested the blood. Maybe that's it. I don't know. And you know what's funny? I had surgery about 15 years ago on the same shoulder, and my potassium was low then too. So maybe something's going on with that. Not sure. It's time to pop a whitey. My friend Vic, short for Vicodin. So give me a second. See, I don't hide anything on here. I tell you what I'm taking. You hear it? Your friend. Especially when you've had shoulder surgery and you feel like you got hit by a bus by just standing in the bathroom and taking a pee. Well, but yeah, I had a banana the other day. I liked them. Remember when you were little? Like, do you want a glass of cold water? No, give me boiling. You remember when you were younger, people say the stupidest things? Like, oh, look, he had a baby boy. No, she had a senior citizen. Of course it's a baby boy. I know. Why do you have to say those things? Just to make small talk with people who really don't give a shit about you? In it, you're in balance. Jesus, when you said Eustachian, I thought of fallopian. That didn't go well. That last 2 seconds in my mind. Yeah, well, I did go to a doctor that adjusted my neck and did all this and that. Well, no, Tuesday more. You know how much shoulder surgery is? I got the bill. 39,000. I'm only on the hook for about 2,000 of it, but 39. And I found out my doctor, if you read about him, I have good doctors. My doctor, Richard Schlafmitz, my heart doctor, is the number one in the country. Go read about him. Um, David Dines is my shoulder surgeon. David Dines invented the the ball and pin. Go read about him. David Dines. He's like 78 years old. I had his son, Joshua, who's an orthopedic guy, but David was in the room. And he has a house. I think where I had hospital special surgery was like, I don't know, First Avenue, 70th or 68th. He has a house, a condo on Park Avenue. I guess because my surgery started at 7 a.m. And I guess for him to drive from wherever he could live, it's easy to have an apartment. I'm guessing he shares it with his father. That's what I'm guessing. October, you know what I had for the first time since I was probably 2 years old? My mother's gone a million years. I can't ask her. Oatmeal with blueberries in it. I had to go out, and Ira was wonderful enough to drive me. I had to meet somebody in New Jersey the other night. Friday, I think, Friday night. And from that ride, I got home. I felt like I went like this to Jesse Owens and went right by him. It's how tired I was. Gina, you know what's funny? I remember my father in his 40s talking about the meds he takes and shit. Oatmeal was the answer to feel young, but it was actually good. I should have had banana in it now, though, not blueberries. They should have just brought the tree. They gave me so many blueberries. It was good, though. So a shout out to Ira, who always has my back, and all of you who always. Now I'm growing the beard, as you can tell, and it's itchy. Like I'm growing it. This is about a week. I'm going to grow it for a couple of months. I think I'm going to look like Vishnu, walk around. I'll act like I know something. I look very wise. Oh. But so yeah, maybe Florida, or as Michael Madsen would say, Florida in Donnie Brasco. Florida. Always wanted to go to Florida. And then before you know it, April will come around and the end of March, we'll start hearing from Mitch about his birthday 10 times a day because it's on April Fool's Day. Boy, did the mother, that was some April Fool's trick. You had a son. No, Mitch is a good man. I know that because he tells me every time I see him. I'm kidding. Mitch is a good man. skip and go, no $200 going right to heaven. Jesus will say, "Sit here. You look uncomfortable." It's cool. I have a gray goatee. Do you? Either do I. Do you know something? It's funny you said that because I was talking to someone tonight and I told her, I said, I'm not going to dye it or anything because it's probably very, I'm sure there's dark in it, but I'm not going to bother. So I love people that have like this dark hair. You know what color that is? The color after white. I don't need that. If people don't like me for who I am, you know what? I'm sorry. I hope I didn't offend you, but maybe this will. Go fuck yourself. Because you know what? I don't have time to impress people anymore. I have to impress the people that I want to impress, and I don't even do that right. It's like I remember a girl was telling me once, two friends. I said, "Yeah, I wanted a three-way." I said, and she said, "Well, three." I said, "Three-way. I'm going to disappoint two girls. I can't make one happy." Salt and pepper's cool. That I would go with. If I had to throw a little Grecian in there and make it look like I was 60 instead of 64, yeah, I could do that. I could live with that. I'm down with that. But I'm not going to walk in there looking like Wolfman Jack. I love when guys get hair pieces. You know, you can't walk in and look like Don Cornelius after being thin-haired for 8 years. You think they may know. They may be onto you. Salt and pepper is distinguished. I like when they say distinguished. No, distinguished means you're getting old. I love how they change things. I remember all these stupid sayings when my grandmother was around. I'm not blaming her. She didn't invent them all, but I'm sure she kind of said, "Yeah, that's a good one. Keep it up." Be that as it may. The fuck does that? Be that as it may. Or what's going to be is going to be. No shit, Grandma. I figured that one out when I was like before I came out of the womb. Yeah, the white beards. White hair. Guys were getting their hair dyed silvery white. That's for the girls that had daddy issues. So, you know, so I'm looking forward to this. So I'm going to get a new car, probably the Lexus SUV or something like that. I had a truck while back. I had an Explorer around 2001 or two. You're absolutely right, Gina, because they're gonna think what they want anyway. My days of trying to please people, well, I'd like to please people that I like and that I feel are nice people. Don't get me wrong. I'd always go out of my way for somebody, but I'm not going to try to run for office anymore because you see how they talk about politicians. And actually, it was a good one that came out of it. I originated that too. So, yeah, this summer, gonna go on vacation. Couldn't leave Colby because he was ill this past summer. This summer, I'll go away. I'll probably do Florida. That's not a trip, 3, 4 days. Um, I don't know. I'll decide where I want to go. I might take a few trips uh, with my son, baseball trips, go around. The last time you was shaving, Ma's funeral. Oh, shout out to October's mom. God bless you. March 30th, 2000. The last time you was shaving? What do you mean? You haven't shaved since 2020? Or you trim it? Because talk about Vishnu. Just send me a picture of you and I know how to trim it. That's incredible. No, you probably not clean shaved, right? You probably. I wish I had the face that looked good with like the Bradley Cooper look. The 7, 8 day growth, 10-day growth. I don't have a face like that. I look like shit. Some of these guys, McConaughey, they all look great. I look like I'm just a fucking bum laying in the street. I don't know how these guys pull it off, but they do. I just look like, why didn't you shave? No one's saying that to Bradley Cooper when they meet him. They're saying, I got a key. But what are you going to do? Not trying to not trying to impress women anymore either. And that comes in handy. Well, you don't have to do that. That really comes in handy. You don't have to walk in, you think you're James Bond and you look like Pee Wee Herman. You could swear that you look cool, and they're like, so yeah. So the new car will be coming within a couple of months. Um, I'll do a couple of short vacations, and then I'll see if I'm ready to get a new little furry friend. Um, my son was talking about a a something poo. Forget what it was called. Not a hugapoo. I don't know. They're like $3,500. Better come with a warranty. If I told you that I would have not had my surgeries felt like shit to spend it on my Colby, which I ended up doing. Vets are unbelievable. Vets, to me, do you remember Strauss stores? Strauss stores, if I took a car out of the showroom, put some dirt on it like it was a little older, and took the speedometer and put like 3,000 miles on it so they didn't know. Meanwhile, the car's 2 miles on it. If I brought it to Strauss stores to change a tire, they would come up with what should be done to be $3,000 what I should do to the car. They do that with a vet. They do that with a vet. You walk in for the shots, recommended 900. You know what? I paid 700 for him. You know what? Take him and give me a new one. Can I get a credit? It's unbelievable, and I'm joking. But you know what I mean. They'll always find stuff. The Emmanuel, I'm up to the living daylights. Being sick this whole week, Netflix, all the James Bonds, recently added, as they say. And I just watched. Oh, wait, I think I what? I just watched the first Pierce Brosnan. Was that GoldenEye? Which was good. Some of the scripts were really weak. Now that I've seen them in their entirety for a while, some of the were horrible. Really, some of the stories were like terrible. Um, Timothy Dalton didn't get anything to work with the two movies he did in the late 80s. I don't know. James Bond's always getting laid and drinking. I don't. First of all, how could he ever get it up after all the drinking he does? Girls, close your ears and or unsubscribe if you're really upset. I'm joking, but I feel we're family here. How does he ever get any work done? And you know what I love? He knows someone's trying to kill him, and they invite him for lunch, and he comes. Oh, good night, G. And he goes there. Remember the guy from Thunderball? He just tried to kill him the night before. James, Mr. Bond, you should come to lunch on my yacht. Sure, I'd love that. Hey, fuck you, Nazi just tried to blow your head off yesterday. It's unbelievable. Aha, yeah. I like that. I saw them in concert at the Garden. 86, I think. 85. Take on Me was that 85 or 86? But James Bond, he doesn't help himself. If you know there's a trapdoor in the elevator and you're going to be fed to sharks, don't walk in with a smirk. Take the steps. 8 days a week, Maria? What, the Beatles? I love that. The Beatles. Oh, don't get me started with the Beatles. I met with Ira. We went to the Beatles convention with Mitch. I met Peter Asher. You know what was going to be? I wanted him to come on my show. You know what I was going to ask him? One of the first questions. Peter, I have to ask you, were you in a tough position when Paul McCartney was with a different girl every night and he was engaged to your sister? I was going to ask that. He probably would have. Well, first of all, I have some shot getting him on, but you know what I mean? That would have been my question. Imagine what he would say. I don't know. He was Paul. He wrote yesterday. Go with it. Daniel Craig was perfect for a modern James Bond. And I'll tell you what they did with James Bond. When they went woke, they didn't make him effeminate. They made the women around him more masculine. Let me say that again because I can't even believe I just said that. It sounded good. They made the women strong, like M, right? Julie Dench. Very strong, I don't give a shit woman. And he was smacking girls in the early 60s. You could never do that now. First of all, you don't even know if they can call a girl now. How the hell are you going to smack one? You don't know who it is. She might call herself a bread box. You know what I mean? This is going down a very dangerous road, this show. But it's funny because getting back to Goodbye Winter. Yeah, I usually am very upset when winter leaves because of losing my brother-in-law, and not to put them in the same realm, and then losing Colby. I'm ready for this winter to go bye-bye. You know what I mean? This was a tough one. A lot happened, and a lot that I hope heals by next Christmas. That I'll be able to, when I first heard the Duran Duran song 2 Thanksgivings ago, the one before this past one, I saw them at the Garden, and the new Duran Duran album had come out, and I listened to it with Colby laying in bed, and I have that memory. And then I tried to listen to the song because I like the song. It's a Thanksgiving themed. I'm sorry, it's a Halloween themed album, but I wanted to listen to it, and I couldn't. It bothered me. I'm hoping because I equate that album with Duran Duran now, although I had all their stuff in the 80s, went to see Simon Le Bon a few times. I hope that I could think about it, listen to it, and have fond memories and not really be through that stage of pain that still hurts terribly. They said I could play golf probably in July, Ira. He says, "Maybe we'll let you putt in May or June." Yeah. Ira, I could do that now. I could even take over for Johnny Carson if I had to. But I'll be out there in June. You know me. Might not be too smart, but when am I ever smart? But yeah, I'll judge it, but I think in June I'll be okay. Yeah, alpha women, it can be a challenge. An alpha woman, you got to be an alpha man because they're not interested in you if you're not. See, they it's funny when I would do the couples, the stuff with the life and health. A girl doesn't want to be masculine for the most part. Sometimes they have a job where they have to be because the guys swallowed them up and they didn't come out right. They they have to be, or they're going to get passed over and all that. When they come home, they want a masculine guy. And if you listen to all the nonsense and the bullshit about masculine toxicity and all this crap, right? Yeah, well, don't listen to The View because first of all, those are more manly than any guys that would be on the show. But go out on a first date and don't protect her. Say, "Oh my God," when someone tries to mug her. See if she'll go out again with you. And if she goes out with you again, you should mug her next time because she deserves it. So they only talk about toxic masculinity when it's convenient, but they want a man. And they don't want a man cracking them every night. I'm not saying this isn't Sicily in 1800, but they want a guy that has some masculine energy. Women, for the most part, don't respect you if you show them you don't respect yourself. If you let them treat you like shit, why the hell should they be nice to you? You don't like yourself. And that's all I have to say about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed your Super Bowl. I hope you won. If you're a gambler, I went 8-2. You should be up money this weekend. Um, USA women got gold and silver. Really? They should put diamond in there. They'd win that all the time. You see what the price of gold is? You go in, you say, "Can I have a pen for 2,500?" They'll give you something that looks like a piece of a rich cracker that fell on the floor. That's how big it'll be. But I hope you guys in the Northeast have gotten through this terrible and dangerous uh, cold spell. Yes, Tony Soprano alpha. Absolutely. They don't want a chick with balls. They want a guy that's a guy. They don't want a guy at Starbucks waiting like this, going, "Oh, they're out of kale." You might like kale, but you don't admit it. Guys cry in Hallmark movies. They're not sitting there, they're not doing that. There's a reason why men are men. But I will tell you, and I always believe this. And look at me acting like this. Do you know why men go to war? Because the women are watching. If the women weren't watching, half the fights in the world would never happen between guys. Half the wars would never happen. Guys feel that they need to show the stuff that the women say they don't want. Look, every TV commercial, emasculated men. The guy's crying in the kitchen over the phone bill. Two guys that look like wrestlers are doing ballet moves outside. The women are masculine. Or not as men. They just effeminate the men. It's not that they're making the women so masculine. You just notice it more because the men aren't men. And that's the way it is. But don't believe it. Women will say it because it sounds good. Women want men. They don't say it on television because they can't. For God's sakes, Q had to be gay in the last James Bond movie. Why? Because people wouldn't go see it? It's ridiculous. It's like they're ridiculous. Annie in Africa. That's like me playing Martin Luther King in the next Broadway play. It's ridiculous. I'm not tall. But you know what I mean? Philly's going to be 7. I am looking to go to Parks in October, and we should meet up. Hit me up on my email, lovethehits@gmail.com, and I will give you my number. And Ira and I will probably drive down there very soon, in fact. Because when we went to Jersey for my meeting, we were going to go to Parks, and I didn't feel good. And I felt so bad because Ira kind of went for that, and I felt bad. But we're still looking to go. Yeah, Manuel. Yeah, Tony Soprano had the bad boy. I'll tell you why. Remember TV commercials? You could have a doctor coming out of a Jaguar walking up the driveway. "Hey, Al." And you know who the women were looking at through the mirror, through the window? The lawn boy, the pool boy, who was all sweaty with grease all over him. Not the guy making $200 a year, the guy that you're giving $10 an hour to. That's what women wanted. A masculine bad boy. Who, when you said, "I can't see anymore," he went, "Oops, next." Not, "Oh, why?" Right. Oh, are you far from Parks? Well, one day when it's nice out, we'll meet up toward Pennsylvania. Definitely. My boy Al. Al and I went to Parks a few months ago. Once I get all this health behind me, the health issues, hopefully Tuesday, I'll know more. Me and Al had a ball there. Yeah, Al broadcasted from there, made some shorts. It was great. He's got an amazing channel, and Al's a human being. He's a real guy. And at this point in my life, I'd rather be real than remember who I'm trying to be because I don't want to work that hard. At this point, I have friends that I don't have time to see. So if I make a new friend, I might as well be me. Oh, okay. Well, one day when I go toward that way in the summer, spring, summer, whatever, definitely I'd love to meet you, man. We'll get the boys. We'll go to Philly. Um, I'll tell you something though. I refuse to watch Bad Bunny. I wouldn't watch Bad Bunny. They are trying so hard to turn this country into anything but America. A woman like Gloria would drive you ubats. Yeah, well, she's a high ticket item without having to spend money on it. A high ticket woman, emotionally, you'd rather spend the money. You're much better off spending the money because money you could always make back. Your sanity, you can't. You can't. I'll tell you why. Women don't like women. If I went out with Al tonight, I'd say, "Oh, Al, I love that fucking shirt, man. That is great." If two best friend girls go out to a club and one has a brand new dress, "Oh, you look amazing." When she walks in the bathroom, who the fuck does she think she is? They hate each other, women. I would definitely do that. I could text him. Yeah, I would definitely do that. That would be cool. I've never been. I've never been. But so I hope you enjoyed your day today, and I really hope that you guys are staying warm because I will tell you, it's brutal and it's very dangerous. It really is, and I can't stress enough. You think you're okay. In fact, Iris said that he was out with gloves and his fingers were blue afterwards. But it's scary. So you have to be careful. You really do because it could sneak up on you. You could have a heart attack, stroke. It could really hurt you. It really can. Um, the he's Broad Street, uh, Joey's place. I'd like to check it out. I love cheesesteaks. Yeah, Philly. I don't. I go right to parks. I park in the lot. I walk 100 feet. I'm in the place, and I leave. Um, there's a nice diner called the Clubhouse Diner right on Street, where Al and I went, and Ira and I have been there. And you know, I'm not out there waving a flag. Fuck you, Philly. I'm in the car to the restaurant, lose the money, and leave. Pretty simple. But anyway, whereas someone in the '80s would say, "Anywho, you live in the rich neighborhood. God bless you. God bless you. If you live in, listen, I live in a nice neighborhood. I mean, not mansions, but it's nice. Al, someone in Middle Village, a couple pulled over. The girl was outside asking, "I just moved in the neighborhood. Where can I go for this or that?" Someone pulled a gun out and took her chain. This is in a good neighborhood in Middle Village. Happened the other day. The person I know, her friend, her next door neighbor. It's scary. It doesn't matter. I could put you in $1 million house, and the houses here are $1 million, and I could put you 5 minutes from hell. Whatever neighborhood I put you in. A mile from me is Elmhurst. Read about it. More dialects of language than any place in America. I could walk there in 15 minutes. It's scary. It's scary when you have people that root for violence. It happens. Oh, do you, Maria? In LA? Are you in LA? Anaheim? I like California. California's changed a lot. I had a friend that lived in well, Elizabeth Shue lived in Laurel Canyon. Rivers Casino. I don't. I've never been there. How far is Rivers Casino from Parks? It's far. I always like to check out new places. As long as there's a crap table and dice and the guy that say any seven, I'm good. Yeah, I'm a craps player. I like craps. Well, they're going to be opening within 3 years the casino here, where Belmont Racetrack is, or where City Field is, where the Mets play. Atlantic City is going to go broke. Right now, if I get in the car and go to Parks with gas and tolls, about $65. Yeah, the people, Maria. Yeah, the people. Yeah, yeah. I'm not a Phillies fan. I will tell you this much though. There is a Phillies show with Ruben Amaro Jr., a sports writer, and another guy. It's really a good endorsement to who it is, right? They are very fair. I listened to their show. You could check it out. Really good. You're in Vancouver, Washington. Are you still allowed to call yourself a woman there? Washington. Like I was joking around between New England and Seattle. You know what I was handicapping? Which is more woke? Who should I vote for to win the game? Seattle, forget about it. Seattle, if you wear a dress and you're a guy, you get a free coffee in Starbucks. Uh, I'm joking. I'm joking. I have plenty of liberal friends. Well, they make believe they're my friend. I don't know if they really are. I have plenty of liberal tendencies. I do, but I just feel that when you blame everything on one side, generally speaking, you're the one causing it. Not me. Everyone that says not me, how many times did you find out in life it was them? I went to Vancouver a very long time ago, in the 80s. I try, Al. I try. I try to be me. You're you too. Al is very, very like if you met Al, Al's the same guy as he is. Al is just Al. He's not trying to be, and he has a great channel. He has thousands of subscribers. But Al is just Al. He's not trying to be a big shot. He's not trying to overly impress you with stuff. He's trying to make your day better. How do you not love a guy like that? Penn's Landing? Well, I'm not Park. Yeah, Ben Salem. It's about an hour 40 from me here. Right, the street road, and then a mile and a half down, you're there. Bucks County, near Philly International Airport. Yeah, I'm not. What are you like? 45 minutes from Bucks? Because I know Philly. My friend owns the Rim Cafe there. Renee. It's near Geno's, a block and a half down, and that's like 35 minutes from Parks, right? I haven't been there in a while. I should go say hello to him. Actually, have you ever been to the Rim Cafe? Rocktober? Fucking hot chocolate's $18. He makes, I swear, you could do heart surgery in 10 more minutes than he makes that hot chocolate. He's got this big mountain. He's shaving chocolate. I swear there was a cow coming out. Incredible though. But I'll show you him. I have him here. And yeah, 40 minutes, I thought. Yeah, the Rim Cafe is good. I think Molino goes there. Yeah, I know him a long time. And he's friends with the mayor who does Gravesend. I met the mayor over there. Let me see if I could find him. If you saw the picture, how we both aged in 7 years, he looks like he aged. I look like I regressed. Now, maybe mentally I did, but he's a really good guy. He had opened up another place across the street, but the COVID knocked it out. Couldn't make any money. It was new. But he's a really nice guy and makes a mean hot chocolate. It better be for the price. They sent me home with the machine that made it for $17. But oh, not tonight, Al. I'm a little under the weather still. I'm trying to get better. I have to teach this week. I took off last week. It's not that they weren't happy about it or sad about it. When they knew I was sick, they were hoping I'd get better, but I had to change things around. I have to do a makeup class now. It's a pain in the ass. But, maybe tomorrow, Al. Oh my God, you sound like Mitch, Rocktober. If they told Mitch, we'll give you can live till 95 healthy or have a car and live till 70, he'd say, where do I sign and where are the keys? Some people just can't live without a car. I don't get it, but then again, I have a car. I might feel differently. I'm not saying it's not right. I probably would feel differently if I didn't. I remember when I was a teenager, I wanted one. I also wanted a fucking red wagon when I was young. Don't matter now. But I like Philly. I don't hate Philly. I think it's a cool city, actually. Right, you don't need it. Oh, it definitely helps when you have a car. Don't get me wrong, I'd probably be lost without it. But I'm also a guy, if I had a Cessna ride, they'd lose money on me. They'd be here every 4 hours. I would plan. I can't sit still. I have to go out. That's just me. I'm hyper. You know what I had here? I'll show you. When I worked in England, I had it right here. Here's my ID. Gloucester Sporting Club. It's on Victoria Road. When I worked there, in England, I used to take people. It looked like James Bond over there. Yeah, we go to diners. Yeah, Al knows this great pizzeria place near Aqueduct. When we go over to Aqueduct, we go there. Great. He turned me on to this pizzeria. Great pizzeria. We go to the diner like Seinfeld. Yeah, yeah. We can talk and talk and talk. We never run out of things to talk about because we have a lot in common. We have a lot in common. We're around the same age. We did the same stuff in the 80s. Not 1880s people. Don't get wise. You just Rocktober, you know what? You just have fun doing what you do. Your time is for you. Your life is yours. I tell people your mistakes, not you, but your mistakes are your own. Your excuses are your own. You have to understand why you don't have certain things in life. It doesn't mean that you can't strive and maybe feel a little bad you don't have them, but generally speaking, people that don't have something could have done a little more to have it. I'm not talking about having a Hugh Hefner mansion here, but most of the people that don't have the bare necessities, unless it was illness or destroyed by a divorce, have a little bit of culpability in that. Not all the time, but usually there's a reason. Because I know people that weren't overly gifted with mental acuity, and they have money, they own a house, and no one was ever, sitting in Washington and NASA saying, "Why don't you call Joe Blow? You know what? He might have the answer." No one was asking this guy anything because he was too busy working, putting away. And the pennies turn into fucking dollars when you're working years. Thank you, Al. So are you, man. I cherish Al's friendship because I know I'll always get an answer from the heart. As I cherish you guys. Listen, everybody, stay warm. Uh, be good. I will remember when you were young. If you can't be good, be careful. Fuck. Like I couldn't come up with something better after all these years. And I will tell you what happened Tuesday at the heart doctor, of course. But be well, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night.